Hi everyone, this is Sam Create the Heart. Today I'm going to be making some more cards using the paper pads of the month of the Not Too Shabby Shop. I'm going to be focusing today on Ice Cream Dreams and the add-on ephemera. So I don't know about you, but sometimes the ephemera can be difficult to work with. You got these everyday images. How do I make a card out of them that makes sense? So for the card which we're going to make today, we're going to be doing slimline cards. The base measures 8.5 by 3 3/4 is the size that I'm doing today. And so what I did, you can see here's my sample. I haven't attached it to the card base, but give you an idea is that we're going to make sort of a kitchen counter card. I'm using all of this kitchen ephemera. We're going to do 2 cards at one time just because they're very, very similar. And really it's a way if you wanted to make multiple cards, you could cut everything at one time and then put them all together at one time. And it saves up some of your time. So for my card, I guess the mat measures 8.5 by 3 3/4, same size as our card base. And what I did was I put that in my scoreboard and I scored at 1/2 inch, and I scored all the way down because I'm going to cover the bottom. And so that gave that kind of look of, like, I guess wainscoting, or kind of sort of that tone on tone. It kind of gives you a look of a wall, I guess. And then I'm using 6 by 6 paper. So I cut one. This is actually really, I would say, scrap. So I believe it measures 1.5, might be 1.5, might be 1 inch by 6, and then 2.5 by 1 or 1.5, depending on what kind of scrap you have. And because these are sort of non-directional kind of prints, very random prints, they piece together really nicely, and the eye won't catch the fact that they're pieced together. So it's really a good way of kind of using scrap and still being able to use 6 by 6 paper on a larger image. And so I'm using 2 different scrap papers that I had in my stash. And so these are like countertops and a wall. That's kind of what I'm sort of imagining it to be. And then so that you don't get this sharp edge, I've got a 1/2 inch piece. So I pieced together some scrap. I think the top one is 1/2 inch by 6, and then 2.5 by 1/2. So yeah, those are 1/2 inch wide. And so they just go over the top. Or actually, this is really the counter, this kind of granite looking paper. It is kind of, you know, my countertop. And so really, really a great way to use scrap. Even in a card that's not this type of card, maybe I want to use 2 different prints of paper and piece them together, I would maybe use a similar technique where I use this 1/2 inch sort of neutral to kind of break it up. And so that's just going right there. I'm piecing together actually a couple of pieces along here. And again, you're not going to really notice. They're going to get covered up with some ephemera also. And so it's just really a great way of using up your scrap and making a cute card. So that's done. And now it's a matter of deciding what I want to do with my ephemera. I've gone ahead and snipped the excess. And so I'm kind of deciding. And so usually what I do is I do different heights. So different heights, and also some will be flat, some will be on foam. And so that kind of tricks the eye a little bit too. And so I've got all these different pieces. And then that one that says cones and nuts and so on, I thought about trimming it out, but I actually think that maybe it looks a little bit better just kind of leaving it as it is and just kind of tucking it under there like that. I think that that works. But yeah, you could trim that out if you wanted to also. And then the little towels there. I've got my my KitchenAid, my mixing bowl thingy right on top of there. And so that is kind of how I'm envisioning my scene. And then of course I want to leave a little bit of space there for my sentiment. I am going to put a sentiment on here. And so I really like how these cards came out. I think they're really great for someone that bakes or cooks. And I think you could put a little gift card inside if you wanted to. And they are that Slimline size, so they do fit in the number 10 business envelope. So you could go ahead and leave it just like that, but I will be adding a sentiment. And so I did forget to attach that top card piece, all the little ephemeras, and I'll get to that after I put these onto the card base, because my sample card actually did not put that on a card base. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm just using glue. I do really like the Barely Arts glue, and I have extra glue. But when I was cleaning out my craft room, I found this Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive Clear Dry and Craft glue, and I want to go ahead and use up what I have. And actually, I really like it. I don't mind it. So I don't think I like it quite as much as my Barely Arts, but it is working out really well for me. So I've got the second card. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the card base. And then I realized I got to attach the ephemera to that last card, which is fine. I've got most of these on foam. And so I've got my cake, and I've got my towels, which those will be flat. And then I've got my mixer. And then I've got my candle. So it's an ice cream cone candle. I think with the matches, those are on foam, and that's making the kitchen smell nice. So I'm going to put that down. And then I have some sentiments. So the sentiments, I actually am using up a Spellbinders. I'm using a Spellbinders stamp set that I've had in my stash for a long while. But I really liked the sentiments. They kind of worked because I think they went with some sort of cupcake kit that I have. So they really worked for this these cards, and they were the right size. Sometimes the right size is like the important thing. So now I've got 3 cards, and now I need 3 sentiments. And so I have the Have a Delicious Day, which was just perfect for that space up there. And then the other 2 are going to say Hello, Sweet Friend. And those are all on foam. So I'm going to go ahead and take the foam liners off and go ahead and finish off my card. I stamped my sentiments using the Claire Nocturne VersaFine. It is now my favorite ink to use for sentiments. It just is so vibrant. Great black. Okay, and now I've got 3 cute cards. Thank you so much for watching today. This is Cindy with Crying with the Heart.